Hi there, if you didn't already know, Kobo is Amazon Kindle's #1 competitor when it comes to e-readers, and over the past several years, they've actually gotten really good to the point where they're doing some things way better than you can do on the Kindle. In today's video, I want to talk about a few specific features that I hope Amazon will one day steal from Kobo and make their Kindle a bit better. Even though the Kindle already is #1, that doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement. Now, the first feature that I really think Kobo does very well with is the ability to quickly adjust your screen brightness without having to open up any kind of menu. Currently, the way it is on Kindle, if you want to adjust your screen brightness, you have to swipe down from the top of the screen, open up the quick actions menu, then adjust the slider, then close the menu out again to go back into your book. It's not the biggest deal, but there are a few taps required. Now, when you compare that to Kobo though, things are very different. On the Kobo, they have a very nifty feature built right in. All you have to do is swipe on the left side of the screen up or down, and that is the shortcut for adjusting the brightness without ever leaving your book. I really do enjoy this because sometimes you want to see what the brightness looks like with the book open, not with the menu open. So that little detail makes a big difference. And for both Kobo and Kindle, maybe one thing they can both add at some point is a similar shortcut for adjusting the warm light. Right now, this only works for brightness control on the Kobo, not for the warm light. Moving right along to the next thing I really want to see on the Kindle at some point, those are going to be reading metrics and analytics. Right now on the Kindle, we do have metrics, analytics, awards, achievements, all these kind of things that are available on the Kindle mobile app, even on the Kindle Kids version of the e-reader, but not on the default Kindle. Now, when you compare this to Kobo, Kobo is doing things the way they should be doing it. If you go to the Kobo software, there's a whole section dedicated to awards and metrics. I really love this. They've had this feature for so long now, and it blows my mind that we don't have this on the Kindle as a native feature. I really love this specific feature because it very much gamifies the act of reading. For example, on the Kobo, you can earn badges while you read for doing certain types of reading activities, which is really cool. There's also a whole stats menu with some metrics that I find very amazing and really insightful. For example, you can see the total number of reading hours that you've had on your Kobo, which is a really cool metric to have. They even show you your reading speed, your average session duration for reading. All of these numbers and metrics, if you are a numbers nerd like I am, could be really helpful to encourage you to read more. It really surprises me that Amazon has not made these kind of features available on their Kindle yet. There is no doubt in my mind that they have all the data available to them. They're tracking all of this information about you anyway when you read on your Kindle. All they have to do is surface it onto the Kindle software. So hopefully one day in the future, they'll take this from Kobo. Now, before jumping into the next feature that I really hope Amazon will steal from Kobo, I do want to mention that I am a big Kindle fan. I know I'm talking down about some of the things they don't have right now, but they do have quite a lot of features, so much so that I wrote an entire book about it. If you want to learn about 46 different Kindle tips and tricks, check out my book called Kindle Bookworm. It's available on the Amazon bookstore. It's a really great and short read that'll teach you every little feature about your Kindle. The next feature I really hope Amazon will consider stealing from Kobo are the Minimalist Screensavers that are available on the Kobo software. When I bought my first Kobo, one of the first things I noticed about it was the very minimalist screensaver. When you put the Kobo to sleep, all it says is sleeping on the screen with a white screen. It is so clean and very minimalist. On the Kindle, things are a bit more complicated. Now, depending where you live, when you first buy a Kindle, you'll be faced with the option of paying 20 bucks extra to remove lock screen advertisements. And this may sound like a silly thing, but it really does impact your day-to-day use of the Kindle. When your Kindle is in sleep mode and you have lock screen ads enabled, you're gonna see an advertisement for a random book or Amazon feature on your lock screen at all times. And on top of that, you'll have to do a swipe to unlock to get back into your Kindle. Now, even if you do pay extra money to remove those lock screen advertisements, the default wallpaper you're going to see on the screen when it's in sleep mode is these nice screensavers that Amazon has built into their Kindle. I don't have any complaints about them. They're very, very nice and they're very clean and nice to look at, but there's no option to remove the screensaver and have nothing on the screen at all. If you want to wipe the screen completely clean, you'll have to hold the power button down and hit the blank display option. This takes a few extra seconds every time you want to do this. There's no default option to have this on the screen. Now, this is a very small nitpick, obviously. There's not that big of a deal what screensaver you have on your Kindle or Kobo, but this is one of those little things that I think Kobo does really well. I love having that option for a minimalist look. Now, one thing both Kindle and Kobo both have are the display cover features, so you can display the cover of the last book you were reading as a screensaver. So regardless of which Kindle or Kobo you have, you'll have that option available to you. Moving on to the next feature that I think Kobo does actually really well that Kindle does not do very well at all, and that is the integration that Kobo has with libraries around the world. If you own a Kobo, there's an entire section of the software dedicated to Overdrive, which is a software tool for integrating with public libraries to borrow library books. It makes it so much easier and more convenient to get books from your local library, and this actually works across the entire globe, which is very, very convenient. This feature by itself can potentially save you a ton of money from having to buy books every single time you want to read them. Now, when you compare this to the Kindle software, it's a night and day difference. On the Kindle, if you want to get a library book, things are very different. You'll have to use your computer and then sync it over to your Kindle, which is a very cumbersome process. And on top of that, the library integration for Libby and Overdrive really only work in America. If you live outside of the States, the library integration for Kindle is virtually non-existent. Now, if you ask me, there's a good chance this is a very intentional design choice by Amazon. They make a lot of their money when you buy Kindle books from the Amazon store, so there's a very good chance they don't want people saving all this money by using public libraries directly on their Kindle, so they make this process a bit more complicated than it needs to be. But with that being said, I still have a hope that Amazon will one day do the right thing and bring this integration more directly and more natively onto the Kindle. Now, speaking about native support, that brings me to my next point. The Kobo has much better native support for third-party applications. Now, depending which Kobo you buy, you're going to have even more functionality with apps like Dropbox or Pocket, which is a read it later app. These things make your Kobo even more functional than before. Now, Amazon just recently came out with the Kindle Scribe, and they're coming out with more integrations with Microsoft Office. So hopefully we'll see more third-party apps make their way over to the Kindle. I would love to see a native app for things like Reader or Readwise, both on the Kindle or the Kobo for that matter. But for right now, Dropbox and Pocket support are only available on the Kobo. I do want to mention that on the Kindle, there is a third-party app technically of Goodreads, but that app is owned by Amazon, so I don't know if I would count that as a third-party app. Now, the last thing I really hope Amazon will steal from the Kobo is not even a software feature, it's actually a hardware feature. I really hope to see more power buttons placed on the back of the device on the Kindle. On all of the recent Kobos, they've been very intentional about putting the power button on the back of the device. This is just so much more ergonomically friendly. It's completely out of the way. You're not going to press it by mistake. It's in a really nice location. Compared to the Kindle though, where they have the button on the bottom, I despise the location of the Kindle power button. I don't know whose idea this was, but they put the Kindle power button right on the bottom of the device, right where my finger is holding the device, so I am constantly pressing the power button by mistake. And I'm not too sure what happened, because on the Kindle, with the Kindle Voyage, the power button was actually on the back of the device, and they recently made that change to the bottom of the device. So for some reason, they're going backwards here, and I really hope Amazon will do what Kobo is doing and put the power button back on the back. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to want to check out my other video that is a very in-depth comparison between Kobo and Kindle. These were just a few of the features that are different, but there's actually a lot of other differences that I do a very in-depth comparison about. Link for that video on the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.